And here comes the music.
All right. Hey, Ryan, check it out, brother.
That's it. What's that?
Episode number 17.
That's right.
They said we'd never go anywhere.
Who said that?
Well, nobody watched the last one. I looked at how the numbers were going, and we had 3 on the last one.
That's all right.
And I think I watched it twice.
I may have been the third one.
All right.
All righty then.
Anyhow, I loved it. I had a great time.
Can you move the mic a little bit just in front of you? That way, like that. There you go.
Hey, anyhow, you've been missing in action the last couple of days, and finally you're back. God bless your soul. I'm glad you're safe.
Yeah, I've actually been working a lot. So, working at the bar.
Somehow I heard that some stand-up comedy is going to come back your way, bro.
Yeah, I'm going to be out of town on Thursday. I'm getting picked up and going to Apple Valley when I'm featuring for a friend. So.
Wow. So congratulations on that.
Yeah.
Is there anybody that, in case we get one other listener that wants to go to Apple Valley,
Yeah, totally. I don't really know much of the details, honestly. I just know I'm getting picked up and I'm doing a set.
All right.
So,
Well, then.
But that basically I'm back and I'm gonna be starting to do more spots around in San Bernardino County and stuff too. So I'm excited to be back, and places are opening back up. I might be going to San Diego soon too. So.
All right. Well, if you need anybody that's really funny, I'm right here. But anyhow, check it out, brother. Episode number 17. We are so lucky to have Mr. Terry Welsh here today. And let's put Terry on and ask him, Terry, what's your deal?
What's my deal? Well, if I had to say what my deal was...
Sorry, the crowd got a little loud.
Well, it's always good to have a crowd. If I had to say what my deal was right now, it's just living life, enjoying what I've got. Life, even with COVID, life is good. I got no complaints. If I had to, in a nutshell, which is kind of funny, if I had to put my life on a dating site, I'm 56 years old. I don't have a job, and I live with my mom. So
You sound hot already.
I'm into it.
Ryan knows that one.
I know.
Like,
Hey, look, and it still works for me.
yeah. So everybody just, you
It's
take
because I'm funny and handsome, so that it works out.
There you go. I try to I take care of my mom and stuff like that, but everybody kind of, if you want to make fun of it or something like that, that's kind of what you throw out there.
Sure.
And but it's good. I retired a year ago after, combined 30 years in the fire service, and so living life right now is like, it's everything you can do to squeeze everything out of it. I had my knee replaced like 7 weeks ago. So,
oh my goodness.
So I'm rolling hard with that one. Working really hard, making sure it's going well. And so,
what was the problem?
About 11 years ago, I heard it on a fire, tore the meniscus out of it.
Oof.
And then to be honest, I made it 11 years. The doc says if you don't lose weight, you're not going to make it 3 years. Yeah. So I lost a bunch of weight. Surgery helped. And then I made 11 years on my knee. And so I'm totally lucky, totally blessed. I have no complaints. My job, and through the course of my job, I ended up hurting my back and I retired.
Yeah.
And so it's a beautiful day. I mean, I rehabbed out of that. I feel great. I'm looking forward to backpacking. I'm looking forward to all this stuff in the future. the Caminos in Europe, stuff like that, just to get out and go do and go see. And even if driving to Apple Valley and watch a comedy, I'll go do that.
Hey, look, you might get one person going.
See? I guess. I'm wearing my Doug Gleason shirt today.
Yeah, look at you, super fan.
Yeah, see, I guess not too many people have these shirts. I just want you to know, limited edition. But I'm a huge.
And we're gonna sign it today.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
That one never got signed.
Hey, Doug, you got a lighter?
I do.
It
might even be yours.
Probably is.
a huge fan of Doug. Went and watched him.
He's all right, huh?
Yeah, I went and watched him do a couple shows and stuff. Stayed the night in Hollywood someplace, and just to watch him go out there.
I don't even think you watched it. You showed up with some hot chicken split.
Yeah, not even.
Yeah.
But it was a great night, and supporting a friend and stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what it's all about.
Rye Guy was at that show, man.
I was. Well, I was there because I had a friend on that show, and I had no idea you were on.
Yeah.
So, it was pretty funny. The way we just kind of ran into each other.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. But it was nice to see the support coming from friends of Doug.
Hey, but this is not about Doug. This is about you.
Well,
I've had a couple opportunities to meet one of your daughters. Now, I don't know if it's your only daughter or anything like that, but it seems like she's very athletic and into firefighting as well, and tone of body and all that.
yeah.
You got anything to say about that?
Well, Sarah's my heart. I have a daughter. She's totally awesome, and in just a word, she's a badass. Right? My daughter is 26 years old, actually 27 now. She's 27.
And badass is 2 words.
All right.
Actually, in the Urban Dictionary, it's 1 now.
Okay.
Oh, she's
Because it's an adjective.
so she's a hot shot with the Rogue River Hot Shots up in Oregon. Which is it's a pretty tough job. It's the hardest job in the fire service, and she chose that.
What is a hot shot?
So a hot shot there's a crew of 20 people, right? And they bring hand tools in to go in and fight fire. There's no hoses. There's no water.
Oh wow.
There's none of it.
So like those guys that run in with like the axe and stuff, and
Yes.
Yeah.
So then, just like the movie,
yeah,
the Granite Mountain movie where they perished out in Prescott. It's a
I don't know.
I didn't
something
see
to break.
that
Yeah,
movie.
I saw part of the movie. I didn't get to see the whole thing. But she's a hot shot. She's been there she's permanent for a couple of years. So she's been doing it for about 5 years, and super proud of her. Never thought my daughter would go into the fire service. She's and I'll be honest, my daughter was a band geek, a gamer, and she was totally into crafts and stuff. And then when she went to college, I told her, I said, hey, this is your chance. This is your chance to do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
You can go wherever you want to do whatever you want to do. And we had some great conversation while we're touring colleges. And she, of course, she chose the college the farthest away from home.
right.
And it was like 862 miles and 14 hours to get there.
Jeez.
Not that I counted.
But you drove it.
Yeah, hell yes, I did. But yes, she went to Humboldt University. She just says, Dad, I think I'm going to get into logging sports. Throwing axes, using
Running on
saws, climbing poles, chopping wood.
Yeah.
So it was like going, Dad kind of goes, this is a kid who, softball, soccer, gymnastics, okay, we do that for a while. And she totally goes for it.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I mean, I'm not like the typical dad that says, you got to win all the time and all this stuff like that. I'm just have a good time. Have a great time. By the end of it, she's the president of the logging sports team. And there was one of the competitions they had where like a bunch of colleges from a bunch of states came around, and she got best all-around female.
Wow.
So she's kind of a badass. and I'm super proud of her.
Yeah.
And I have to say, she's got a great sense of humor. You know, she's got her, and I'll be honest, she's got her dad's sense of humor. It's dark as hell, but it's funny, and it's really a pleasure when you really like the kid when you like the person your kid grows up to.
Sure.
And so hanging out with her is one of my favorite things to do in life. So thank you for asking about her, because
She's just such a lovely woman.
I've
had the opportunity to meet her a couple times, and I mean, she's also extremely attractive, you know.
Ease up, Doug. I get it. Nah, she is. She's beautiful. She looks like her mom, not like her dad.
Come on, I have a mirror, man.
Yeah.
I don't pick up on a whole lot of chicks, man.
So, but she's, you go out hiking. I go out hiking with her.
Wow.
Dad, can I just go? And it's like, and I think I'm 56 years old, maybe 55 at the time.
You think you're moving
I
hard.
think I'm keeping up with the young ones. I think I'm doing all right. And she says, Dad, can I just go? And just hauls ass up the hill. And I go, oh, I'm a dead man. Yeah, she killed it.
Yeah.
So, but
Nice.
she's always working out. She's in super great shape. You see her. I see pictures of her now and when she was a kid. She's got the gun show going, and I mean, she's a Sawyer on the crew, and so
I don't know what that means.
A Sawyer is the one that works a chainsaw. So she's hucking around a chainsaw, cutting brush and trees and all this other stuff. And she's working on being a faller. She sent me videos of trees that she's cut down, like 100-foot tall trees.
Yeah.
And huge things. And she's taking these things down. It was just like, it's every father's dream. Every father's dream. I tell you, when she graduated from college, tearfully I said, I never needed a son. Because I had her.
There you go.
So
anyhow, you were saying you're 56. You're retired. Where did you grow up, Terry?
I was born in Newport Beach. So love the beach. Grew up in Orange County, more or less. We grew up in Orange County. I spent summers in Michigan because my parents divorced. And I went back there, and so I learned how to bale hay and build forts and barns with straw bales and stuff like that. I had a great time, great childhood. Orange County is pretty much it. I grew up in, for the most part, the longest place I stayed was Stanton, down in Crow Village, which is pretty much a ghetto.
So where'd you screw up and have to end up in Highland?
I got divorced. I'm just saying.
That explains why I'm in Highland.
No, honestly, I lived in Redlands.
I mean, I wasn't divorced, but it's a similar situation. I think.
I got divorced, and I needed a place to stay. That I needed to stay close to my kid, so I found a house in Redlands, and it's the biggest freaking DIY project you'd ever want to look at. But I love working on shit and fixing things and remodeling, and so it all kind of fit.
Yeah.
And so I had a place for me and Sarah, and it worked.
Very nice.
So,
very nice.
And I can't say, I have to say, it's probably one of the best things that happened. I mean, I have a whole new group of friends and stuff like that. I mean, the bell was one of those weird ass things that happened to me that you just kind of figure out. I was like, it draws a different type of people.
Yeah.
And I have to say, for a simple little beer bar in the middle of a town, you get to meet people like Doug and Martha and that whole crew. I mean, the old bartenders, Pete and Darlene. I mean, all those people, wonderful people and grounded, simple. I mean, not that they're simple, stupid, but they're easygoing.
Yeah,
They're nice, and they're nice, earnest people.
Nobody's trying to calculate your next move or anything.
I mean, if you go into a place like Palm Springs, Newport Beach, any of those, San Diego, any of those places, somebody's got an angle. Yeah. I don't think anybody's got an angle here.
No.
I mean, so you go into a place like that and there's honesty, and I appreciate that.
I mean, there's Eddie, and he's got that big bulge. Is that considered an angle, or is it just a bulge?
I'm just gonna go with bulge.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Move the mic in front of you more.
and
You keep moving it.
and
I think it's moving itself, bro.
so sorry you had to deal with Eddie's bulge. So,
You don't want to stay up.
Here, I'll
it's
go.
like me.
me.
Your
all
your
good.
15 minutes is up.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, I started off in Orange County. I moved to Diamond Bar. I was a steel worker for 7 years after I got out of high school, and loved the job as a family business. My great whatever greatness it is, grandfather was a blacksmith on a dredge
Now,
in Holland.
when you were when you worked on steel, were you in the union?
Absolutely.
Because me, through the years, I've had to work with steel workers, and just out of, I think, sheer necessity, they're the baddest motherfuckers I've ever come across. They really try not to become friends with any other trades. It seems to be a brotherhood of just bad motherfuckers, you know. But through the years of me being a plumber and stuff, I have actually made friends with steel workers, you know.
So
And they don't want me to tell the guys they work with that they actually went and had beers with me or
No,
anything.
it's kind of funny because there's not a whole lot of trades around when the steel workers are there, because we're putting up the framing of the building. So none of your finished carpenters, none of the other trades are actually in and on it.
The plumber's always there before everybody.
Well, yeah, because you got to take a dump.
Well, yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
I mean, anybody can walk up to the second floor, but not everybody can take a shit and make it go to Long Beach. You know what I mean?
Doug can.
Well, I know how to do
Yeah.
it.
No, it's so no, we interact with some of the other trades. It's not nearly, but it's I never experienced a ton of, hey, we don't deal with these guys and stuff like that, because I was the grandson of the owner of the company.
Like, did you learn how to do the monkey climb up the fucking beams and shit?
Yes.
Well, I mean, that's one of the most amazing things a human being can ever watch is when you guys just grab onto an I-beam and then just monkey climb up that son of a bitch and grab onto the top fucking beam.
Yeah, they don't let you do that a whole lot anymore, but back in the day when I was there,
Yeah.
you could still do that. And trust me, it takes you a little bit to get there.
I'm certain.
Oh yeah, because my first crawl across a beam was on my hands and knees. And the foreman said, "Yeah, you're going to have to learn how to do that better."
Yeah.
And I didn't. And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll do better." And so eventually you get there.
Yes.
And everybody learns it, and it's a good. I love my job as a steel worker. I love my job as an ironworker. I mean, in the shop and in the field and stuff like that. It was great. But eventually the business went to pot because they started going out and using a bunch of concrete, not going up with a bunch of steel. So I had to find something else to do. I got up to being fingerprinted for a gun by the Orange County Sheriffs.
What's that?
What?
Yeah, I was going to drive for the Orange County Sheriff's Department. I got all the way up in the process to being fingerprinted for a gun, and said, "Yeah, I really don't want to be a cop.
Yeah, maybe I'm not a cop.
I don't think I want to be a cop." And it's like my sister-in-law worked there, and I had an in, and oh man, he goes, but I didn't want to be a cop. My cousin Jerry says, "Go take an EMT class. You'll do great. Give it a shot. If you like it, then you might want to be a fireman."
Yeah.
So I took the EMT class. Great class. Mount Sac. Had a great teacher. Steve Williams was a great teacher, and I learned a ton, and it came easy to me. It was like working on a car. If this is going on, it looks like this, do this. And that's what EMT was all about. And I was like, hell, I could do this. And worked on an ambulance for a while as an EMT and asked if I could be I was on staff with the college for teaching skills.
My perfect thing. I always have to kick the goddamn camera.
All good, brother. I shook a little bit. And then I went to the paramedic program, and it too is one of the hardest things I've ever done. It was intense. I did my internship in South Central LA, and learned a ton in just like 3 months, and then came back to San Bernardino to work on the ambulance as a paramedic.
So most of your career was actually paramedic. I understand that's part of the fire department.
Yes. So I kept my paramedic license throughout my whole career. So even as I promoted up through engineer and captain, I kept my paramedic license. I've been a paramedic I was a paramedic for 30 years, and loved every minute of it. And to be honest, the best place to be a paramedic was on the fire department.
Yeah.
You know, fighting fire. I mean, for me, once you learn, it's like, oh yeah, fighting fire. Like, oh shit, that's a lot of fun. Hell yes,
Yeah.
let's go do that too.
Are you a bit of a firebug?
We don't want to tell everybody that.
Well, like, isn't there? Didn't they?
You're retired now. It's illegal.
I remember hearing somewhere that like
You gotta love it a little bit.
well, yeah, well, and that like fireman is someone who starts fires or something like that, but a firefighter is somebody who fights fires.
Actually, a firefighter is the politically correct term.
Yeah.
Because we were firemen before.
Yeah.
I consider myself a fireman.
Yeah.
Because I'm old,
Yeah.
and I'm, you can call me a firefighter if you want.
Oh well,
but,
also yeah, fireman I guess excludes
yes,
women, right?
See,
Okay.
I don't want to say I'm a fire person.
Yeah,
Am I a fire person?
Yeah.
I'm not a fire person.
Right.
I'm a fireman. If you want to call me a firefighter, fine. But you ask me what I am, and I say I'm a fireman.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, it was great. I love doing it. It was a great place to go to be a paramedic because we got to be there first.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you guys are the first.
So that was the cool part. Coming in second.
How about the horrifying part of walking into something you're not ready to see?
So, all right.
That was going to be my question too.
Let me. I'll start by saying, I'll back up to the end of my career. In the last couple of years, I was a peer counselor.
Yeah.
For firefighters, and we all have a box. And as it was explained to me by the lady who taught the class, we all have a box, and we take those things that we see and we put them in a box. And not very often do we pull those things out of the box, and it depends on how you deal with it. Me, my box is pretty strong. It doesn't come out. I'm good with it. I dealt with it. I was older when I started. I wasn't as young as everybody else. I was 28 when I got on the fire department.
Yeah.
So dealing with a lot of this stuff, I was halfway there, and I'm good with it. How do you deal with it? How do you walk into something like that? My engineer Sean, had his kid in his hands, and he looked at me. He goes, help me. And the cord wasn't cut, and his wife delivered at 6 months, and you just kind of, what do? You go to work. So we clamped it up. I said, Sean, you're going to cut the cord. Mm-hmm. Sean cut the cord, and I whisked the baby away and took him to the hospital.
Yeah.
I was an engineer at the time, but still a paramedic. But I was there in the doorway first. So I grabbed the OB kit and the kit we have to deliver babies, and we took him to the hospital. So this is my second podcast. Mm-hmm. The first podcast was my exit in the fire department.
Sure.
Sean brought his son to that podcast.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So kind of special.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing.
And it was awesome to see. And Braden has grown up to be a wonderful kid.
How long ago was that?
About 18 years ago.
Oh, so he's like an adult now.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So when you say walking into something horrific, now there's been worse things.
Of course.
But and it's kind of funny because they say, hey, what'd you do for a living?
Yeah.
And you say, oh, you're a fireman. Oh, I've been a fireman paramedic for 30 years. Do you really want to tell him that? Because what's the worst thing you've ever seen?
Well, that's what everybody comes up with.
I mean, not to compare the two careers, but
They're all idiots like me.
That's why I stopped telling people I do comedy, because what's the first thing they want to? Tell me a joke.
Tell me something funny.
So here's a little bit of sage advice. My fire chief, my old fire chief, basically says, you know what? If you don't want to go there, just tell him you're retired from selling insurance.
Yeah.
And no one wants to talk to you.
Nobody wants to know about that.
No,
Yeah.
That's the most boring
right
job. Yeah.
So I have to thank Jim for that one, because he saved me on that one, because I was like,
that's
yeah, because there's sometimes I really don't want to go into it.
No, but I mean, that story you just told is extremely heartwarming. That must.
I'm not gonna pull. You don't want to pull out the dark shit.
Well, especially with a stranger, or somebody you're just meeting, like. And it's the same as I have Doug and I know a guy that was went to Iraq and Afghanistan and stuff, and he's tired of hearing oh, did you kill people? It's dude, of course I killed people. You know, it's it's just
I'm a sanitation engineer, and yes, I killed people. But yeah, I totally get that. And so I try not to. You don't dwell on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Now it seems like you're retired and you're turning into more of a little bit of a gardener and a all around nice guy, perhaps a carpenter, perhaps a lot of little things. What is the change you find that you're? I mean, you must be finding some sort of change in yourself now that you're retired from what you did as a living.
So, there's some people in life who cannot, and I could say I was yanked from the fire service, right? I did not plan this. I wasn't looking forward and saying I'm going to go out at this time.
Yeah.
I hurt my back, blew out a disc. Had enough of an injury to say
it was about the perfect time for you to go.
I'm done. And yes, it was a perfect time for me to go. So I can't complain about that. But there's guys out there who their whole identity is wearing a badge and driving around the fire engine.
Yeah.
I feel bad for those guys. You look ahead a little bit and say, listen, you got to have some outside interests.
Yeah.
A couple of close friends, they have all sorts of outside interests. I love gardening. I do the handyman thing on the side. I like fixing things. I like helping people. Doug's talking about his staircase. And it's if your carpenter friend doesn't come through, I'll come out here and build you a staircase,
Yeah.
And just stuff like that. I built my brother a staircase back east, Family, trying to maintain that kind of relationship, and just doing all those things that work got in the way.
No.
So, and I'm good with that. It's I don't miss work. Dealing with administration, dealing with policy, dealing with some of the public stuff. It was kind of a pain in the ass.
The politics
because I have to be so politically correct.
Yeah.
And if you haven't figured that shit out yet, I'm not totally politically correct. Doug's just a little bit further than I am. But
yeah,
in the big picture, you kind of call it as you see it. And I had the respect and love of a bunch of guys on the floor, and that's all I ever needed.
Yeah.
And
yeah, well, and I don't know if you're going to live your life on a filter.
Yeah.
You're going to get your feeling hurt a lot more than you should,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't run on a filter per se.
No.
But I at the same point, I'm not out to hurt anybody.
No.
It's just I like to call bullshit where I see it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did. One of the greatest compliments was given. Now, Redlands is a wonderful legacy department, meaning there's a lot of sons whose fathers worked there.
Sure.
There's a few of them right there now, and I have to say that's one of the things that politics and policy has kind of screwed up, because there's nepotism laws and stuff, or nepotism rules and stuff like that. It's I watched that kid grow up.
Yeah.
And I watched that kid grow up, and you know what? that kid's going to make a great fireman because I know what's in his heart.
Yeah.
And they kind of screwed that up when they said, well, no, your son can't work here because you work here.
Yeah.
And
which is kind of ridiculous, right? Like,
well, I know I worked with two gentlemen. Matt Henderson was one. Him and his younger brother, I plumbed with their father. And as they grew up, he was like, their father was like, hey, Doug, will you teach them how to plumb? And it was an honor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we went through, oh, Jesus Christ, them growing up and becoming men.
Yeah.
To making them actual plumbers. To when I see them now, it's just like, God damn it, I miss you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know, and it's lovely.
Yeah. Chris worked on the ambulance. Chris Harrison, I worked with his dad. His dad was quite involved in search and rescue, had a rescue dog, the whole bit. And Chris came up through the ranks and was working on the ambulance. One of the earliest memories he has is he reached into my drug, when I was a paramedic, he reached into my drug box to grab something out of it, and I smacked his hands. I told him, I said, you don't go in there, that's mine.
Yeah.
And, those are my drugs.
Yeah. And he brought it up at my retirement. But at the same time, just because I don't know, maybe it's just the way I was.
But there's no way that's nepotism.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to let you speak. Yeah. I'll shut up.
Thank you. So what worked out from that one was, at the very end of the day, Chris, I went to a union meeting for my retirement because of COVID.
Yeah.
I went to a union meeting, and I spoke for a little bit, and Chris got up and spoke and said he recalled the memory. Mm-hmm. I mean, he smacked his hands.
How old was he?
He's probably 30.
Oh, so he was like an adult when.
So he was 20. He's probably in his 20s when I smacked his hands.
But he was like on the team or whatever.
Yeah. He
I was like trying to think if he was a kid or whatever.
No.
Okay.
No, he's a paramedic working for the ambulance company.
Got it.
We go on
you guys,
scene,
so you guys were working together.
He's gonna help me out by reaching in my drug box. And I was in LA City.
Yeah.
And that drug box was mine.
Yeah.
And you don't touch it.
Yeah.
And so there's narcotics and stuff in there that I'm responsible for. So you're not going to touch my drug box. I smacked his hands.
Yeah. And
he recalled that. But he also recalled this is Terry's one of those guys that if you need to hide the body, he's the guy you want to call. and I take that as one of the highest compliments of trust and and loyalty.
Yeah.
And trust and loyalty are huge in the fire service.
Of course.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be, right?
And that's why I don't consider it to be nepotism in any way, because like my guys Matt and Sean Henderson, they earned every step of their way, man.
Absolutely. And it's only some silly rule that does it.
Yeah. And it was and I know for a fact that it was out of honor of me and their father. And a couple other guys. And God bless that shit. You know?
No, so, I totally get it.
I don't know. We keep making up new and improved rules on everything.
Right. I have a question.
It's not improved.
You said you brought up a rescue dog.
Oh, yeah?
So where do the Dalmatians come in?
Actually,
I think I've heard this story.
The Dalmatians taste like chicken. No, I'm just kidding. No,
how dare you?
I know.
Everything tastes like chicken. Yeah. Come on.
So back in the day, they were companions to the horses. Right?
Oh, that's right. I think I knew this.
So they kept the horses calm.
Yeah.
And so when they ran alongside of the thing, if any of the other dogs that would come out and chase them, the Dalmatians would actually chase them away.
Yeah.
And knowing that the horses that were charging down the road, and stuff like that, it had that comfort of that companion.
Yeah.
Right there. So
it just became like a symbol mostly.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because after they lost the horses, then it was kind of like, well, what do we do now?
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny because they said, well, the Dalmatians work out really good because they're deaf. And I was like, well, my dog was never deaf. I had a Dalmatian.
Yeah.
His name was Bob. Best dog of the world.
Good name.
Oh, it was awesome.
I would have named it Dot.
No, I named him after one of the engineers in the station.
All right.
And so somebody tied him up behind the fire station and left him.
Oh.
And I took him home. And he turned out to be one of the best dogs ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, excellent animal. I was the Santa Claus for the Redlands Fire Department for 20 years.
Oh, were you? Yeah. There's the fire department does that in El Monte every year. Have you ever seen it?
Yes.
That's the town that me and Doug are from. So it's crazy. I got to hang out with because they still did it even during COVID.
Yeah.
I got to watch my niece. My nieces actually watched Santa Claus drive by when I used to do it on the same cul-de-sac when I was a kid. It was pretty cool.
I drove the fire engine and Bob sat next to me.
Right on.
It is good looking Dalmatian, and so we had a great time.
Yeah.
And it's things have changed now. They do the whole they do the whole Toys for Tots things. We used to bring Christmas to families. There was families that had nothing.
Yeah.
And I remember walking into these houses and looking around and going, these people have nothing.
Yeah.
And I was so proud to be able to be part of this thing, to bring them boxes of food so they'd have Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
Boxes of presents so the kids had something.
Yeah.
I mean, there's even a couple times that somebody brought a tree in.
Wow.
They brought a tree in, set it up, put the presents under it,
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's what my fire service is all about.
Wow, that's just really amazing. And I don't know, you must just be very, very proud of the service you put in to do your job.
The guys I was with and the people who mentored me to bring me up to be the guy that I became, it's all on them. Jim Drabinski, Larry Egan, Larry Taylor, those are guys who were my bosses. Glenn Shrive. Glenn Shrive is an awesome dude. His son, I was his fireman.
Mm-hmm.
Later in life, his son was my fireman when I became a captain.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, you got to give the same gift back.
I'd hope. I would hope.
I'm certain you did.
Yeah. So stuff like that. I mean, in the small town of Redlands,
Yeah. it's
stuff like that make a difference. The chief now, Jim Topoleski, was a paramedic when I came on, and now he's the chief.
Yeah.
Good guy,
My one of my best friends growing up, his uncle is now the fire captain in El Monte, and he used to give us rides in the fire engine and stuff.
Oh,
it was
absolutely.
like when we were kids growing up, and now he's the captain, which is pretty cool.
Is that not fucking cool?
It's
though?
pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah. Just to go out there and go visit the fire station, go for a ride in a fire engine.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. He used to cruise by like his grandma's house and stuff, and then they would just and then give us a ride, like just around the block a few times. It was so sick.
I had a buddy, and his water line broke on his toilet, and his daughter came home, and the water was pouring out of the ceiling. And the whole house was destroyed, just completely destroyed. And so I got a call from my buddy, going, Doug, go take a look. And all I had to do is shut off the angle stop, and it was good. But his daughter was out of control, upset. And they lived right down the street from the El Monte Fire Department. And I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. You're going to walk in and you're just going to keep on crying, man. And those fuckers are going to vacuum this place out and put some fans. Yeah. And we just set them up to no end. And that's exactly what happened,
Yeah, we'd have done it anyways, Doug. You didn't have to cry.
But it wasn't me crying. It was a little girl.
I totally get it.
But it helped.
It does. Yeah, probably does.
It couldn't hurt.
Makes you feel good. Yeah.
What was I gonna ask? What's the most common thing that starts like a house fire or something?
Probably just negligence. There's a lot of candles, a lot of extension cords, like electrical probably type stuff.
Yeah, because I hear that there's I don't know if this is true or not, but I hear that there's a lot of fires, especially during like Christmas time.
Oh yeah. So those are the devastating fires because they overload a circuit and causes a spark, and the Christmas tree is so dry.
Yeah, exactly.
And they keep showing films and videos of these things burning, and nobody pays attention to it dry. I mean, oh yeah, it's dry. Fuck it, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
We don't have to be here another week, and then we'll take it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that thing's dry enough. Yeah, it'll light your whole place off. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, they ignite pretty quickly.
Rob Sandberg's one of our lead arson guys, and he's done videos and stuff like that on Christmas trees and stuff. And he's and it just shows that it's devastating as to what these things can do. I've been on a bunch of Christmas fires.
Is it? You're saying the lead arson guy? I mean, is some? Well, I would imagine. I guess sometimes it's just linked to that, something like that, huh?
Yeah. That's all. I mean, we go to a fire and go, hey, well, what started it? Oh, the hot water heater, the stove, Doug. You never know.
I'm anything but dry.
So, but he's smoking a cigarette, fell asleep, his beard caught on fire, and the next thing you know,
yeah. Dude, that happened to my sisters. I actually feel bad for laughing, but. It happened to my sister's friend's dad. He passed out with a lit cigarette, and his pants caught on fire.
Oh, nice.
And he had it really it fucked him up bad, but it's just kind of funny.
Funny.
It's kind of funny. Come on.
It is.
Okay, how about that? That's a good question. What's something that you had to go on a call for that was super embarrassing for the person that called, but you guys couldn't help but laugh about?
Oh man!
Or is that even legal to speak about?
Well,
because I do this stand-up bit about people getting stuff stuck up their asses, and
that may have happened.
Let's just say his
because
name.
I say there's an alarming rate of people
getting
So hold your bottle up.
Okay.
Let's just say his name was Bud.
Okay. Oh, and he had a light bulb.
No. A bottle.
Oh, oh my God. Okay.
Right. And so him trying to explain was kind of like...
And it's always a weird story.
I'm a paramedic on an ambulance.
Yeah.
And the guy's going, yeah, I'm uncomfortable. And, so it's like, dude, I don't care. I just want to take you to the hospital. So for that one, I would say yes. There's the cat stuck in the tree. It's there's tons of that, and
so that happens. So you guys actually go get the cats out of the trees.
Well, have you ever seen a skeleton of a cat in a tree?
No,
Negative.
No.
There you go. There you go. Somehow,
I knew it was gonna be some stupid fucking answer, but I fell for
just
it.
saying.
I gotta go pee.
All right,
go pee.
You guys keep it going.
Yeah, I have a whole stand-up bit about that because I had a friend who worked at a hospital.
Absolutely.
Who wasn't even he wasn't a nurse or wasn't a doctor. He swept the hallways.
Yeah.
But he would do the same floor. So every time something out of control that was too funny would happen, then he'd be in the hallway and a doctor would come up and be like, "Dude, you got to hear about this guy."
Yeah. Probably the biggest thing would be that sometimes you have to understand that when somebody calls 911, and I try to tell the new guys this, it's an emergency to them. It may not be an emergency to you.
Yeah,
exactly.
The
hot waxing job that went poorly.
Oh,
you're kind of like that going, and you're kind of laughing about it a little bit later.
Yeah. But you can't make them feel uncomfortable, or
absolutely not.
right when you're in the moment, right?
And you do have to understand that we deal with stress differently than other people.
Yeah.
Gallows humor is one of those tools that we use all the time.
Yeah.
The word too soon. The word too soon comes out a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty.
Sure.
Of too soon.
Sure.
A lot.
Oh,
right.
Same here.
So to be honest, that's how we deal with it.
Yeah.
In a horrible...
Well, that's how we deal with... I mean, I think that's how a lot of people deal with any sort of traumatic experience.
Okay, so a comedian like you guys would totally get gallows humor.
Yeah.
The public, does not get gallows
Right.
humor.
Well, that's why I always say that like my favorite audiences are like military or first responders and stuff. Like I've done like VFW posts and stuff. Those guys. Oh, and rehabs. I've done rehabs too.
Yeah, well, they understand everything.
Oh my God, they're the best audiences.
Yeah, they get it.
They get everything, and they don't. And they don't. It's like no one's gonna complain about something being offensive. Because it's like
True.
they've seen everything.
So I used to teach disaster prep, like earthquake preparedness.
Yeah.
One of the worst, driest, terriblest things you can ever teach,
God.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm teaching a bunch of teachers in schools because our program was designed to get schools ready for it.
Oh, teachers suck. So you were probably the guys that would come in and like do
Let him finish.
Sorry, wait, no, but you're the guys that
Okay.
come in to do like the assemblies at my school when I was a kid. Like you'd come in and okay,
Yeah, sometimes.
yeah.
So I got a bunch of teachers, a bunch of faculty sitting there, right? And so
This is going to be horrible.
So I say, okay, it's always good to open up a joke. Open up with a joke. Let's go. So a lady walks into a bar with a duck under her arm. Bartender says, "Hey, where'd you get the pig?" Duck says, "She just picked me up." Crickets.
Yeah.
Because you're standing there with a bunch of females out in the audience like this, and the dudes might be going,
Yeah.
but to be honest, it was crickets.
Yeah.
And my partner who steps in, okay, that's the way to offend everybody.
Yeah.
So not any joke works anytime.
Yeah.
But our dark side steps in.
What?
I got nothing,
Oh,
man.
I thought you were going to say something.
I'm just listening to his deal.
Okay, does stop, drop, and rolls actually work? Is
Yes.
that the
Absolutely.
Is that still the accurate
Yes.
thing to do?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
What? I'm just look.
I'm grasping
So now this
straws.
is a public service announcement. Now I get it. No, it's all good.
We're
You know what?
grasping at straws.
No, I'm not. No, it's because it's everything changes throughout the years every fucking day. And it's
I know.
That's why I'm like, is that even what you do? Is the Heimlich maneuver still a thing? Are you even allowed to touch people anymore?
I don't think so.
Choking, yes. CPR. They have like hands-free CPR, or well, not hands-free.
Well, I had to take
hands-only CPR.
Okay.
You don't have to put your mouth.
Oh, now
on
you don't
anybody.
get to breathe no more.
Or where you're supposed to find a little thing with a tube on it or something like that, right?
No,
No, you can't even do that now?
you don't have to.
Oh, you don't have to. Oh, okay.
So maybe it's like a family member. I don't know if I'd do mouth to mouth on Doug, but
Oh, fuck yeah, you would. Hell, even if I wasn't choking, I'd fucking mouth to mouth you, no problem, fucker.
it's mouth to mouth, not mouth to cock, Doug.
Oh, I'm sorry.
so
I thought he said
so
God.
so in the big picture, our family members, but strangers and stuff like that, because they wouldn't want to put their mouth on somebody,
Yeah.
wouldn't do CPR.
Yeah.
So the science shows that if you just circulate the blood that they've got,
Yeah.
that's good enough.
So just with the chest.
Just
So it really doesn't need the air.
No, not to begin with, and not eventually, but eventually they will. But if you do CPR and call 911 and they get there and you're just doing CPR, you're giving them the best chance ever.
Yeah.
And this wasn't meant to be a public service announcement,
Right.
but
I like it.
that's kind of the way it works.
Well, that's why I'm asking, because I took a CPR class like fucking 10, 15 years ago. So
Okay.
I don't know.
So they had the
Because
pocket.
I used to work for Parks and Recreation, so
Yeah,
I
I
used to have to
somewhat
like.
know.
Yeah.
I think I would somewhat know because I did the CPR as well.
Yeah.
But I think I would know where to put my hands. You know?
Absolutely. With the maybe.
Mouth to tip.
I don't know. Let's talk to your ex-wife about it.
So 15
Oh,
years
shit,
ago,
she's
15 years ago, you were
gone.
doing pocket masks.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah. So now we don't do pocket masks.
Yeah.
We in the fire department they in the fire department still have the bag valves and still have the stuff that they use and stuff,
Yeah.
and we still intubate people, and so it's a little bit, it's different for us.
Yeah.
But if somebody were to do CPR, I mean, you give them the best chance possible.
A little better.
Yeah, heck yeah,
Better than nothing.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, wild.
I always like that, better than a kick in the head,
Yeah.
poke in the eye.
Yeah. So now that I'm done with that, it's on to bigger and better things. I'm looking at. I just got my knee replaced.
Yeah. So you said you had you tore a meniscus.
So 11 years ago, I tore the meniscus, and it finally got to the point to where it needed to be replaced. I found a great place in Newport Beach, Hoag Memorial Orthopedic Institute. They replaced my knee, and my rehab has been awesome because of the way they did it. I don't have this big scar on the top.
Yeah,
I just have one on the side.
Yeah.
So my rehab is decreased. I mean, my recuperation time is decreased.
Yeah.
And so I played a round of golf. I bicycling 22 miles.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling better, and I did this so I could go on my backpacking trip.
Oh, there you go. When's that?
I don't know yet. Either next year or the year after.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
So
do.
you seem like a bit of a daredevil.
Oh, yeah.
Adventure seeker.
100% a daredevil.
Adventure.
Wow.
Well, I grew up skateboarding, and that's why my body's completely shot. I'm only 31, but I think I might have done something to my meniscus.
Oh, the homemade half pipes at home.
All of it.
Yeah, see? Yeah.
Yeah.
David Jansen's backyard.
Yeah.
We had a 12-foot
All of
half
it.
pipe.
Empty pools.
Yeah, but he's got 14 minutes of video.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, at least I got footage to show for it.
Yeah, there you go. I got dick.
Yeah. I mean, and here's the thing was I was still in a generation that it was still hard to get your hands on a fucking video camera, right?
All right.
So I mean, if we had these iPhones and shit when I was younger, I could have gone pro. Because I was hucking my body off of shit when I was 15, 16.
Oh, yeah.
But no one would get it on film, but I wouldn't do it for nobody. It would just people would just talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, Rye guy did this.
Yeah. I mean, me and my brothers were wild. All three of us were it was a trip to the hospital every goddamn week.
My wild stuff was in the Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, young, jumping off the top of rocks.
Oh yeah, I mean we did that too.
So,
Did you make it to Eagle Scout or anything like that? Did you really?
Yeah, my stepdad
Somehow
did too.
Yeah.
I did
So-
Somehow you look like an Eagle Scout.
Yeah, not anymore.
What? That's I don't know. Oh, go ahead.
I'm just somehow it almost seems like you're almost a little bit embarrassed of the grand things that you accomplished during your life.
So
I just want you to know that I don't think that people are looking anywhere against you, bro. I think you're a great man.
no,
I think
One
you
of my-
just
one
you
of
don't
my-
want to seem braggadocious.
one of my bosses said, we're not here for the lights.
Yeah.
We're here to do a job, and then we go home.
Yeah.
So, in today's world, it's all about social media and extolling the virtues of what you do.
And clout. Yeah.
And I was never brought up that way. Yeah. So, yes, I'll brag a little bit. Okay, so I have a life-saving medal. I have a medal of valor. I have 30 years of service that went very well. I served as the union president and vice president and secretary treasurer for my unions. So I'm a big union goon, but try not to be this heavy-handed, left-sided person, and try to be respectful, because you do the whole Boy Scout thing, try to be a good example for Boy Scouts. It's like, it's a terrible thing to have, mud sling onto a organization that you're so dear to. Uh-huh. And this whole big Boy Scout thing with letting girls in, some people are just losing their fucking mind over it.
Yeah.
And
what's your take on it?
Okay. I don't have a son.
Sure.
And I was a Boy Scout leader because I believe in giving back. That was my way to give back. So the whole idea of girls in Boy Scouts has been around for 10 years.
Right.
Okay? They had venture scouting. 14 to 21 years old. It's co-ed. It's all about adventure. It's all like that. It's other people who wanted to push their agenda and change things that put girls in Boy Scout troops.
Sure.
Now, do I disagree with it? In a way, I think boys need their space. The other side of it is you look at the organization as a whole and say the Boy Scouts of America, they need people in it. If they don't have people in it, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Today's family, 4 kids, right? For example, today's family, 4 kids, 2 girls, 2 boys, right? Soccer, t-ball, baseball, softball, soccer, whatever you want. The family has to go on weekends, goes this way. They go everywhere. They got the soccer field, the t-ball field, the softball field, the blah, 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 and so they have to go everywhere. Now, nothing against organized sports, but if they were in scouting, the whole family could go to whatever they wanted to do that weekend together as a family.
Yeah.
And scouting needs that. Scouting needs infusion of people. And for families, and like I said, I don't have a huge chip on my shoulder about organized sports. But the win at all cost coach, the win at all cost dad, isn't really my idea of bringing somebody up with character.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Boy Scouts, to teach young men character through outdoor activities.
Yeah.
That's what it was designed for.
Yeah, but I think that if you throw young boys up against young girls, those young boys want to get in those young girls' pants.
So,
And then there becomes what is the new issue.
Yeah. That being an issue, but I think this is just me thinking the inclusion is somewhat important because like, you know, what Girl Scouts do, it's not like they're not learning the same type of shit that Boy Scouts are learning. You know what I mean? So for them to want to do and learn those things, I think is fucking
Well,
fair.
then we changed Girl Scouts.
no. My daughter was in Girl Scouts.
It's just the organization. It's not the same.
It's the way it's set up.
Yeah.
But she still turned out badass.
Well,
But because she had him as a dad.
Perhaps.
where'd she hang out with?
Yeah.
A bunch of Boy Scouts.
Exactly.
Right? So, nothing against the Girl Scouts, but my daughter was in Girl Scouts, and the leaders wanted to do, we made sit-up-ons, which are pillows.
Right.
And we sang songs, and we had crafts.
Yeah.
My kid didn't want to do that.
Right.
My kid wanted to go
learn
camping.
You want to learn how to make a fire,
Throw tomahawks, make a fire, go
exactly,
camp back
shit
in.
like that. Yeah.
All right. So skills-wise,
Yeah.
that's where kind of where it was.
Okay.
And your everyday mom doesn't have this outdoor skills type stuff that a Boy Scout would have.
And my mom had to learn all that stuff because she was married to an Eagle Scout. Too,
Exactly, right? So bringing the girls into the Boy Scouts wasn't necessarily a bad move. It had to happen because there was the whole discrimination thing. You call it discrimination, and it's kind of like a free card, right?
Yeah.
So okay, let them in, okay, and there's nothing wrong with it as long as they're coming up to the level of what an Eagle Scout should do and the good leadership of the troop.
Sure.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. You can have a good human whether they're female or male.
Yeah.
Correct.
All right, and teach them the skills that they need to get through the world.
Yeah.
And to teach them what character and honesty and trustworthiness is. And those are all important things. And if the girls are learning it too, hell yeah.
God bless them.
Right.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I do think it would be nice for the guys to have their own thing, but
I agree.
It's just not long for this world in that organization.
Sure. I just think maybe, I mean, obviously in a perfect world, I think maybe the girls should have like their own kind of badass version. Or you know, because if you integrate them, that's cool for a minute, but then it's like at some point they're going to be teenagers and like all the guys, you know what I mean? It's like
I totally get it because one of my first girlfriends was one of the Girl Scouts that we.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay. So I was part of an explorer post, and we taught a survival course, and other troops Girl Scout troops, Boy Scout troops would come through the survival course. And that's how I got 2 girlfriends when I was a young man.
Exactly.
So of course,
Yeah.
now there is no better venue to teach them appropriate behavior.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
With good supervision.
Yeah.
Say, hey, if you guys are going to date, that's fine.
Yeah.
But you keep it to a minimum here. You keep it clean. This is scouting. I don't want your dad coming up getting angry because, oh, you deflowered my daughter.
Yeah.
Shit. I was like,
Yeah.
So I totally get that part.
Yeah.
But
it's like you just said though. Like I think like appropriate supervision and stuff like that. Like they can definitely make it work.
Yeah, we go Philmont is a scout camp. We go backpacking.
Yeah.
We had to have one of the moms go along with us because we had a female.
Yeah.
And that mom put it out there, and we had and Dave was able to bring his daughter on this backpacking trip.
Yeah.
Completely appropriate.
Sure.
And everything went well, and she's kind of badass herself.
Yeah.
She basically told all the boys, it's like, you're not being good leaders.
Follow me.
It was kind of like, it's like, oh shit, easy, Laura, easy.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it was totally.
What are you gonna say, Doug?
No, I was just going to say, so in your opinion, you don't think that the Boy Scouts nor the Girl Scouts have long to last?
No, they do. As long as families, and a lot of them are churches, right? Churches support Boy Scout troops.
Yeah.
The Mormon Church is a huge supporter of the Boy Scouts, as well as are some of the other religions as well, along as with your American Legion posts and your VFWs and stuff like that. They all sponsor Boy Scout troops because that's how you bring them up into this culture, right? So, no, they're not going to go away. It's just going to change. And honestly, if you don't like the change, yeah, I'm sorry, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
Just has to happen.
It's gonna happen. And if you don't like it, I understand. I'm sorry.
It's that, or the Girl Scouts need to stop weaving baskets and making pillows. They got to actually show them some real skills.
As long as they don't give up making goddamn cookies, I'm fucking with them.
There we go. I think that's a perfect place to end. We're at an hour.
Yeah,
we're at an hour, guys.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
I think this is good.
I think that's a perfect spot to end.
I'd really like to thank Terry Welsh for coming on to my podcast today. Again, thanks and happiness to Rye Guy for showing up.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Look at the camera and say, my name's Terry Welsh, and that was my deal.
My name is Terry Welsh, and that's my deal. So thank you very much. Doug, thank you. Ryan, you guys are awesome.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for coming.
Back to the country music. Thank you, Terry.